Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com, and today's customer service video question of the day is on the question from Quora: why has it become so difficult to contact a real person in customer service, and why can't it be simple the way it used to be? Okay, so first of all, the questions like this are common, and they're always going back to some magical age when customer service was easy and good and everything was wonderful and everything was super enjoyable, and you had a thought or a brain fart of some kind and you just picked up a phone. You didn't even have to dial a number. There was just a girl over there and you said, "Peggy, connect me with the customer service department of my telephone company." "One moment, sir," and then you were connected immediately to a person. "Oh, hi, good there. Let me take care of it." I don't know if that was ever a thing. It might have been a thing, but nobody asking this question on Quora or anywhere else, quite frankly, is probably old enough to remember that, or would be asking about it here in general. So when are you talking about? 10 years ago? 5 years ago? 20 years ago? This magical age when everything was good? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, there still is a question here. It certainly seems that when you contact a business, a conventional customer service organization about something, there's all sorts of things that give this impression. "Oh, have you got the recorded voice thing? Press 47 for English. I'm sorry, I don't understand. One moment while I look that up." And it plays a recording of typing like you're an idiot. "For a more pressing answer, please visit our website." And yes, there's a lot of dummies out there, maybe in this 1950s mentality, who just want to pick up a phone and be like, "Tell me the answer to this thing, I don't want to look it up." But more and more of your customers, as time goes on, are going to be younger, more intelligent, more tech-savvy, more self-sufficient people, depending what you're selling, of course. If you're selling something targeted to the elderly or to the very stupid, this might not apply to you. But me personally, I'll tell you this. I don't want to call a customer service department about anything ever. That's going to be a last resort for me. If I have a question about a service or a product, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to try to find the answer. If I need something done, I'm going to see if I can do it on the website. I'm going to see if there's an email address. I'm going to see if there's a live chat. I'm not just going to go, "What is the phone number for this company? I want to call the company and complain on a phone." There are people who are like that. Those people are, quite frankly, probably the worst customers you're going to have. They'll complain the most. They'll buy the least. If you choose to do business with them, you're choosing to engage in these sorts of interactions. But why has it become so difficult to contact a real person in customer service? It's as I alluded to in my comment here, it's economies of scale. In a sense, these companies are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. 200 years ago in the Old West, you walk into a general store and the guy who owns it is standing there chewing on a piece of hay. "Hey, what can I get you there?" You're the only customer in the store, or the local blacksmith is in the corner counting out seeds or something. I don't know what he's doing, but there's maybe a couple other people in the shop. "Hey, one moment, fella, I'm getting Mrs. Anderson her 8 pounds of coffee," or whatever she's buying. This maybe is what you're thinking of. Well, yeah, that store has a total of like 20 customers in the entire world. You call Comcast, they have, I don't know how many customers, thousands, millions, probably millions of customers at this point. And even if millions of them don't call every day, probably millions of them do, knowing some of these people, but you're getting thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of calls, of complaints, of questions, of requests every single day. You need a lot of people to handle that. And that goes back to the old industrial age way of thinking, to think of this like a factory, like an assembly line. The Ford assembly line, when they came up with the thing back in the day, churned out Ford Model Ts. And everybody working on that assembly line had a specific job. The thing comes to you like this, you do these things to it, it moves down the line. And people try to apply this mindset to things like customer service. And it doesn't work, and here's why. Putting a bolt into the bolt hole is a simple, mindless task. A machine can do it. A machine now does do it in most cases. Customer service is human interaction. It's problem solving. It isn't, or at least shouldn't be, a mindless, repetitive task. These places try to turn it into a mindless, repetitive task with procedures manuals, with scripts, with paying legions of people to answer the same question all day long instead of making sure that question never comes up to begin with. Fixing things in advance, making the information more clear, that sort of thing. They still get these questions all day long, whether they do that or not, but really they don't do a very good job of that most of the time, which is why you get these additional things they tack on, more complexity, because they're sitting there and they're realizing, hey, people are asking us this same question 4 million times a day. How can we get them? They don't think, how can we fix this? How can we make sure this isn't a problem anymore? They think, how can we get them to quit bothering us about this so we can go back to smoking our vapes and having little meetings with PowerPoint slides and stuff? So their answers to that are some of the things that frustrate you, some of the things you talked about, the recorded voice. Thank you for calling our business. Our call volumes are higher than usual. The call volumes are always higher than usual. Surprise, surprise. If you go to our website, you can find answers to the common questions. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Please speak your answer into the phone. This shit is just to... Yeah, it is essentially to dissuade you from calling, to intercept you before you get to a person, NPC, waste his or her time reading the same script over and over again any more than necessary. Those people are still going to read the same script all day long. These companies, that's why they're interested in things like chatbots, because then they can, we'll just have a computer software read the same answer all day long, and then we don't have to care about it anymore. It's a bandage. It's slapping a patch over top of a poorly implemented thing to begin with. And then when you have that, you just need more and more complexity to manage it. You need people to manage those NPCs. You need people to manage the managers, to manage those managers. You start to worry about things like efficiency, so you start timing piss breaks. You start recording everybody and nitpicking over word choice, because NPC number 9643 over there in quadrant whatever used the wrong word choice here, and that's going to offend someone and put us in risk of legal liability. And you just build complexity upon complexity upon complexity. Much of it comes from the fact that these companies have so many customers that they're going to have, almost by definition, assuming some percentage of your customers are dumb or bad customers or complainers or freebie seekers, or every business is going to have some of these, whatever they are, your worst customers. If you have a gigantic customer base, you're going to have, naturally, a higher percentage of terrible customers amongst that base. And if you choose to keep them, if you choose not to drive them out or repel them in some fashion, someone's going to need to deal with them, and these economies of scale go from there. Some of that might just be an inherent thing for these huge businesses. That's why this is much, much less of a problem with smaller businesses, unless they, foolishly, try to follow the blueprint of these huge corporations. If you've got a business, you're selling information products online, for example, and you've got a few hundred or a few thousand customers, you should not have very many customer service complaints or questions or issues or requests each day. If you have hundreds or thousands of complaints a day, you're doing something wrong, and you need to fix that. When you fix that, you'll have a very low level of customer complaints, questions, problems, etc. You become more like the guy in the general store who has those few customers coming in. You can provide them with better service if they need to interact with a real person, whether that's by email or chat. If you choose to use phone, I don't really think it's necessary anymore in the modern age. Like we kind of alluded to before, the phone call is the first resort of the bad customer, the person who wants to complain, the person who wants free service, or who wants a discount, or who wants to demand that the guy he talked to yesterday get fired because he didn't like the tone of his voice. These people want to call. These are people who want to get in someone's face and scream and intimidate them and say, "Oh, well, you didn't tell me this. I want a free month of service." If you have a call center, these are the people that will call your call center. If you don't, they might try to do this over email or chat, but it's not as effective for them. So they'll either not do business with you, which in some cases is fine. You don't want these people around anyways. Or they'll correct their behavior and focus on what actually matters. The product they bought, the service they're getting, whatever that is. My point is, in smaller organizations, there's no excuse for this type of I'll say behavior, but really there's no excuse to have your customers feeling this way about your business. You should easily be able to keep customer complaint volumes low enough by preventing things in advance, by making information more clear, by having a good product or service that actually works the way it should, delivering as much or more value than customers are expecting when they buy it, correctly targeting your marketing so you're not selling a thing to people who have no business buying it. I could go on. I have in other videos. I have in my other writing, both here and on the website, 8020service.com, so I'll stop with that for now. But for a small business, you just need, or small, and small I don't necessarily mean, a lemonade stand or sitting at their kitchen table. I've seen this happen for example, when I used to run customer service for James Altucher's newsletter business before he sold it. Tens of thousands of paying customers, multi-million-dollar revenue company, and easily handled by a couple of girls in the Philippines, part-time. So this can and should be done intelligently for smaller businesses. If you're somebody like Comcast, you're not watching this anyways, but if you are, you've got other problems that I may not be able to help with. But this is the kind of stuff I talk about in these videos. This is the kind of stuff I do for businesses I work with, for clients I help. So I know it does work. I know it can and should work this way. And if you're having a lot of trouble, you're probably almost certainly dealing with a very large business. They're trying to, trying to scale their customer service, and they're trying to scale it based off of an industrial age model that's quickly fading into history. What replaces it at that large scale, I guess, remains to be seen, but at the smaller scale, it's already here. It's just about keeping things simple and preventing problems rather than merely handling them. This video is getting long enough. I'll wrap it up here. But as always, if you thought this was interesting, useful, valuable, like, subscribe, follow, thumbs up, all that stuff. I do one of these videos every weekday on a customer service question from Quora. I also post them on YouTube. So if you have a question, ask me on Quora. Ask me in the comments on YouTube. I may use it for a future video. I also write regularly on business and customer service questions on Quora, and also on my website, 8020service.com, where there is a daily email that goes out about this stuff as well. Get on the list there for that. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow with another video.